Titus Jumper. Between you and me, we got 13 kids, man. So we'll start right there. Welcome to Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just taking a little break from the kids.
Listen, man, those are rookie numbers. Okay. I'm going to need you to grow those numbers. All right. You got to get 7. I mean, we had 10 pregnancies. We tried. Okay. Now we're on the grandkids, but I'm passing the torch. Okay. Do you accept it? You accept the mantle?
You know what? I think we're gonna hold off at 6. My wife and I, we have a 10-month-old son. We have 5 girls, and the boy is more work and more effort than all 5 girls combined. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna just settle at 6 and call it a day. Say that we were fruitful and multiplied.
Look, it gets easier at 7. Okay. Trust me.
Well, that's out to
Hey,
be honest
I
with
got
you.
5
And
girls
like
too.
3,
We
I
had
think, is
2
the
boys.
magic number. Like, because they start entertaining themselves a little
3
bit.
is
You
the
know?
number. Yes. Yes. So yeah, we started with 2 boys and then 5 girls. So I feel you, man. I
If I
feel you,
started with a
dog.
boy, I don't know if I'd keep going, man. Girls are so much fun and simple and just easy when they're little. Now they're starting to hit like preteen, so I'm starting to get a little bit of like that side of it. So, but the boy though, man, he's 10 months old. He literally just has this attraction to danger and like anything that's gonna cause pain to himself. I like boggled. Like stairs, he's gonna try to go off it, Drawers, he's gonna open it, he'll find the one glass in the drawer, drop it on the floor, and step on it. That's happened twice. I'm like, this guy.
Okay. Okay. Here's the deal. You don't want to hear this, but here's the truth. Okay.
All right.
Here's the truth. It's not him, man. It's you. Okay. Because I say this about my 7th. And the thing is, see this gray hair?
Mm.
I was 27 when my first was born. I was 44 when my last was born. I'm old and tired, man. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's not your
Yeah.
boy's fault. We're older. I'm just saying.
That
I'm
is
just
true.
saying.
I
All
mean, I
right.
started young though. I
But he
started
could
at
be crazy.
22. It's definitely a very,
Nice.
very busy season of life. That is true.
Yes. Never a dull
Nothing you haven't
moment.
been
And
through,
then
my
you
friend.
also run a couple of companies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of being able to start and found a couple of them. I think I'm at 5 right now.
Yeah. You've started 5 or you're running 5?
Currently on my operation, I'm at 5.
Oh, nice. All right. So I know about Sales Hub and I know about your, was it Jovi?
Yep. Jovi.
Jovi.a.
Yeah, Jovi. Jovi's kind of like, there's a lot of chat virtual assistants, AI chatbots is kind of what they're starting to call them coming out. Jovi, I believe, comes from more of that customer service, sales centric background. Since I spent a lot of time there, just a little bit about me and my background. I started my first job at 14 washing dishes. But I've always loved business. At 8 years old, I did my first business plan of a car wash. But my mom and dad lived in the boonies, so we were 10 miles outside of town on a dirt road. My mom and dad, kindly advised me that might not be the best idea. So washing cars 10 miles down a dirt road, probably not the best one. But
Yeah.
I've always had this affinity to entrepreneurship, sales, but more just like that entrepreneurial spirit. And I believe with that spirit comes the desire to sell. Because if you're going to start something, you're going to have to sell the idea because, before it's a something, it's in your head. So at 19, I started my first job selling Cutco knives, actually working for Vector Marketing. Got recruited out of high school. I did that for a couple of years, and it gave me a lot of good sound skill sets of interacting with people skills, reading some of the classics of Magic and Thinking Big, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success and Selling by like Frank Betcher, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So just kind of like a lot of those old school foundational books. And I really took on a mindset of self-development and learning. I was in college, did with an engineering background, ended up dropping out because I started to find out that maybe I'm good at math and science, but what I really enjoy is to like that personal interaction with people and growing that way more than in my, academic way. And also I ended up getting married pretty young. So yeah, it just kind of grew from there. From Vector, I started selling fiber optic cable for Verizon, worked for a big company called 2020 Companies. They're an authorized retailer out of Dallas, Texas. Worked for them for like 3 years. And I loved the sales side of it. So that was like filling that need of like wanting to interact. I was in the top 3 sales agents, for 2 years in a row. And then I started taking manager promotions. And I became one of the younger, regional district managers out here in California. And I had a VP opportunity by flipping over to the Vonage campaign. And I ended up relinquishing myself at that time and started my own thing back in 2016. Joined forces and I kind of got into telecom sales, working alongside TrackPhone and some other companies. And I started going from selling to building sales organizations. So, individual selling to building sales organizations. And in 2016, it took me a couple of years, but by about 2018, I was doing about 30 to 40,000 sales a month, selling cell phones. A lot of Puerto Rico, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas were my biggest regions, and it was going really good. I had some really good, strong teams, and I found out that selling people a job was more enjoyable for me personally than selling a product. And just kept growing. Got into a couple different verticals of doing deregulated energy in the Midwest, and doing some other stuff like that. But pretty much everything was going according to plan up until COVID. And that destroyed almost 95% of my sales organizations overnight. And I had to look at myself and really decide, like, what is Titus going to do? Am I going to go back to selling, which I actually did for about 6 months, knocking doors, selling solar out here in California, while I was really trying to like understand who I was, what made me tick. And, I wanted to kind of get back into that business telecom because that was my space. And I was very fortunate to meet a very aggressive business partner out here in California named Kobe. And he had a telco license back in 2011 is when he got, or 2012 is when he got his license for Access Telecom. And him and I joined forces and built the fastest growing MVNO in the United States for 2021 and 22.
What is that called? What are the unit?
Access Telecom.
But NVO?
MVNO, it's like Mint Mobile. It's a reseller of service from a carrier. So it's where people can buy. Most of the time, it's buying premium service at an affordable price is kind of mostly what these prepaid companies go with.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I was able to build that business out really fast. I mean, we were at 100,000 sales a month within 90 days. And that just kept going. I think our best month ever is we did 487,000 sales. So that was a fun run, but I was kind of, I'm a launch guy, hence why I have 5 businesses. So I love putting my power, energy, and passion into the beginning stages of a project. Access Telecom took on its own its own mass pretty quickly with how fast we grew. And I started coming out of like direct operations within about a year. And that's when I started to look into online sales. Because at that time, we were only doing events, retail, door to door. And I knew, in the back of my mind, COVID shut me down before. So I don't want to be reliant on one vertical. So we started Sales Hub. I think that was back in 22. And Sales Hub worked alongside Access Telecom, and that grew pretty quickly. We were doing, I think, within about 4 to 5 months using Access Telecom, along with a couple other clients, we were able to get to about 185,000 sales a month. And again, just selling cell phones, through the United States. We picked up other verticals, obviously, as businesses grow too. But so that's a little bit of my journey. I got a couple other things on the mix. Trucking company was an unexpected thing out of that whole mix.
You got
I
any?
still a lot of those things.
You got any 16 Pros laying around? I got to upgrade, man.
Yeah, I move a lot of cell phones.
You got any scratch and dent? I mean, I'm not too proud to beg. I put a case on anyway, so it's yeah.
Let me
Look, brother,
contact
I
the
got 7
warehouse.
kids, man. I got 7 kids. It's Christmas. I gotta save some money.
Hey, there we go. There
So
we go.
what is the key to launching? Okay, so we went through your story, went through it quickly, and a lot of people are like sitting on ideas for years, a decade. How do you launch so quickly?
My timeline between idea and action is fairly short because I have a higher appetite for risk. Call it stupidity or what not. But I'm willing to take action because I'm not afraid to fail. I mean, I just highlighted some of my successes, but man, failures, I can literally go for days on how many failures I've had. The only thing that I've really learned is that I've never let a failure make me into one. I have acknowledged as at a learning point. I mean, I can even talk about in relationships, um, not proud of it, but I'm on a, like, we're a blended family. I have 2, she has 2, and we have 2 together, hence why we have 6. My 2 are half-time and her 2 are full-time. And then we have 2 together, obviously full-time. So it's not like a branded 7 like you have. But, it's just the failures to get better. And in business, you have to know you're going to be failing. You need to learn to fail the battle, but win the war. I think Elon Musk talks about that all the time, that he's never lost a war, but he's lost many battles. And, I can talk about all of these battles that many people would perceive as their war. And for me, it was just a little bit of a stepping stone. Like, for example, I was very comfortable moving 65,000 sales a month. I had a decent life at that time. I finally was established, finally had a little home, living a life that I kind of thought I never would be able to live, coming from a trailer trash environment is kind of like the way I grew up. But COVID hit and it forced me into a massive failure. I lost everything. And instead of just me succumbing to that failure, I took a step back, kept paying my bills by knocking on doors, and I was able to relook at it and take another stab at this whole, whatever success you want to define. But I enjoy business, so I wanted to be a business guy, and that gave me an opportunity to take a big step, a step that I never would have taken. If I did not fail, if I didn't have that team get wiped out, I would never have taken that next step and joined forces with Kobe and started Access Telecom. Just not something I would have been interested in. It wouldn't have been on the horizon. I'd have still been living in Texas. So it's just kind of funny how, life's failures, if you continue to keep the right mindset, will eventually, if you continue to press on, will lead to a success. Like trucking too. I started trucking 3.5 years ago. I'm nothing to do with sales. The only reason why I started trucks is because, during COVID, FedEx and USPS was taking 2 to 3 weeks shipping phones around, and I was moving them so fast they couldn't keep up. So I started running my own trucks. But dude, that thing's been a mess
Nice.
for 3.5 years. And it's just starting to turn the corner of being, a business that actually produces. But 3.5 years, most people, I don't know about most people. Even myself thought about quitting many, many times because I'm like, dude, this is a waste of effort. But I knew eventually if you kept going, it will turn around, and it has, which
Well, so that's a good point though. When do you know to quit versus like, oh, just keep grinding?
that is something I'm probably not very efficient at answering because I kind of keep pressing on. Um, I think that circumstances will lead, like with trucking, I joined business. I kind of had 2 CEOs that were terrible. One was just pretty much a complete scam artist. I didn't vet him very well. The second one was very successful previously, but had ulterior motives that I was unaware of. And this trucking company's out in Mississippi, so I'm not directly managing it.
Yeah.
But finally, it led me to a really good person. But at that time, it was getting shut down, and then this person just showed up. I'm like, oh, this person I think can make it happen. So, the right no's I wouldn't be really good at. I would definitely tell you my wife would back that up, that I'm not good at saying the no. But if I would say no again, I would definitely say no to trucking. It's not my expertise. I'm now moving into a more of a different stage. Like I went through, I think trucking came out of, I made a huge success happen, with Kobe. We built $1 billion business in 12 months. And I thought I was like this indestructible person. Like I could do anything without any repercussions, right? I think anytime you taste a really big chunk of success, I think I've noticed most people go through that stint, and how long that stint is. Sometimes people live in that forever and then eventually failing themselves into, because you're not invincible. But yeah, I would just stick in my lane moving forward, and that's what I will be doing. Hence why we built Jovi out, because it's directly in our lane. It's a sales customer service bot. I have nearshore, offshore, onshore call centers. I've lived in sales. So of course, in my theory, like, hey, technology's out there. I may not be a tech guy, but I understand enough about the other side of technology, actually what the product produces for the customer, to say, hey, this is going to be a good solution. And, that's why, our technology is having a lot of traction.
Why keep launching things? If business is good, you're making good money, why not steady as she goes?
Well, I mean, this is a 2 to 3 year ago question. And at that time, again, I had that frenzy of like, I could do anything and make it work. Now I'm in 3 years later, 6 kids, a marriage, um, lots of things, now I'm taking a step back and realizing that maybe more business isn't necessarily better business. Um, we have a nonprofit in that mix. We have a real estate development company in that mix. We have two different sales companies in that mix. So there's some, here shared things, but it really just depends on what lifestyle or your circumstances that you really want. Like for a second, I wasn't thinking. I just wanted to win, because that's one of my biggest drivers is I want to be a winner. I want to feel like I'm winning. So, but I, when a lot of times when people are motivated by winning, um, you just don't stop. And I think I got caught up in that for 3 years, and it put a lot of pressure on my family, put a lot of pressure on my marriage, that I'm not necessarily proud of. But I now, 3.5 years later, I'm starting to self-correct and come back and say, hey, we don't need everything. All of this isn't necessarily good. And now I'm starting to choose, like you said, maybe a little bit more gray around the beard, have a little bit more wisdom, but there is right in saying no. And that's what I'm doing now, is bringing down the stress, bringing down the responsibilities, because you don't need 5 businesses.
Yeah.
I like 3
Don't tell Elon
personally.
Musk that.
Well, I mean, Elon's a freak of nature, but also, the guy's personal life, I'm not even sure if he has one.
No, I know he's got like 12 kids from like 5 women, and he's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, to live like that, you can't have you can't be successful in your marriage or your family. In my
Yeah.
opinion, it's just too
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
I like 3 businesses. I think you can successfully manage 3, because if one's down, the other 2 are probably not. So, if you have some really good people around you, which I'm very blessed, I have some amazing, amazing people I get to work with. But yeah, I'm in the process of, scaling backwards right now.
Nice. And what is working today in sales? AI is obviously everywhere. You're leveraging AI, but things seem noisy. There's a lot of screen scraping. There's a lot of cold email, cold DMs, cold calling from AI. Is it working? Does it need to be refined? Are people going to lash out and say, you know what, come bring me a cup of coffee and shake my hand, or I don't want to talk to you? I mean, are the bots winning?
I think that AI, it's kind of like I started in the grassroots sales, right? So you learn about the law of averages. You learn about the more you people you talk to, the more chance of success you have. And then you refine your skills to greater that success rate, right? People skills, understanding contact, just understanding basic human emotion. I think AI is honestly pretty freaking amazing for the sales game because at scale, sales becomes less about the interaction and more about the data and analytics. And um, AI is really, really good at understanding data and analytics and taking decisive action off that. Right now, I have a team of people that are just looking at spend algorithms and reviewing different campaigns having going on. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't necessarily as eliminating jobs, but let's specifically talk to the customer service space. Nobody likes being on hold. AI takes that away. You'll never be on hold again. Once AI gets rolled out to all these customer service, AI will be able to efficiently handle customer service requests. Like right now, Jovi, the one I'm building, handles 85% of the calls coming in for telecom. Jovi successfully can handle without ever touching an agent. So I think that's a very good thing because in the customer service world, customers hate being on hold. They don't like being transferred around to different departments, having to restart their conversation. 60% of, and then on the business side, 60%, 40 to 60% of call center agents churn every year. It's a very high revolving door. So AI will give people on the business side the opportunity to focus on high problem solving tasks. And I think that's what we are built to do as people. Like we're not necessarily built to just say yes, no all day long, do the same repetitive tasks all the time. That is super mundane. And even in sales, like in the retail environment, you can hit the same pitch 100 times a day and it starts becoming very repetitive. Whereas an AI is going to be able to handle a lot of that repetition up front and to be able to pass the conversation to a person when the person's needed to engage to help out that last bit. So in my personal opinion, I think it's going to help out the customer service world 10x, 100x. I think sales on the front side of it is definitely changing. I mean, building out a grassroots organization took me a decade. Building out an online sales organization took me a year. So it's just, the speed of business is a little bit faster online and AI is making that faster. I mean, the revolution is it's every single day. There's extreme advancements.
Yeah.
I think
that's some cool stuff, man. The good thing with this software is that it recorded whatever you just said because it records locally. But I didn't hear a word you said. Something's up with the connection. You gotta bang the internet.
Hold on. Nope, that was me.
Go.
Look at that, dude.
Oh, you touched the button.
There's a freaking button. When I moved my mic, I freaking muted it.
You know what? I've got one on this one. I didn't realize it's a physical button, and I did that. I mean, it's been a couple of years. It's like, where's my audio, man? I'm clicking. I think I reset everything, restarted my computer. I'm like, oh, there's a blinking button there.
You're gonna have to cut that one out. You're gonna have to cut that out there. Sorry.
I'm sure it was good. So repeat it, man. Tell me.
Yeah, I believe AI is an overall good thing. I believe it's going to allow people to be focused on more complex issues, which I believe most people enjoy more than the repetition that comes with the heavy lifting that most people are doing today in sales and call centers. And I think that's a big part of what AI is focusing on right now. I mean, you got companies coming out with billion-dollar valuations pre-revenue almost at this point. So it's definitely a big boom right now taking place. But overall, I really do like what AI is doing with the call center space, customer service center space. When it comes to sales, it really just depends. I mean, there's B2C customer sales, there's B2B, there's high volume, low volume. And it really just kind of depends on what product you're trying to get to market. If it's a volume product, I think the data analytics and the AI that can support mass volume is going to be the way to go. If it's more of a unique, fine-tune, like luxury item that requires individual, like that individual, I don't believe AI will be replacing that anytime soon. Maybe just getting people in front of more people in a better way. But, if you're buying into that higher end items, like AI is going to have a hard time to compete with an actual person,
Yeah.
a skilled
I,
person.
yeah. In a B2B environment, like what is working today? Uh, how are y'all reaching prospects, setting meetings? Because people with all this technology, people seem harder to reach than ever.
It is very difficult to reach in a B2B manner. I would say, there's some sales tools that we use is, just the classic, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You have expos that we're going to, a lot of relationships,
Like live events,
yeah,
expos.
live events. I mean, old school, like we haven't utilized AI in the B2B realm, like selling our own products almost at all yet. We've
Okay.
been solely focused on developing B2C AI products. Just because when you're dealing with 1 million customers, it's a little easier it's more complicated because of scale, but it becomes easier to build and task an AI bot because of the scale, because of the training that takes place and when it comes to scale. But in the B2B realm, we're still practicing the old school sales techniques and it's working out really well.
Nice.
That's why I'm here with you, man.
And so, yeah. Well, I'm also like very like handsome and
I mean,
funny and
dude, you have
smart
7
and
kids, you're going to be a good looking dude. Of course. I knew that the moment I saw 7 kids, I'm going to be looking at a good looking guy.
well, good looking, or I can sell, or
Yeah.
both.
Oh, that helps. Both of them help a lot.
Ah. So when you talk about expos, like are y'all traveling the country, like going to big events? Are you talking about like local? Do you have like a dispersed team? I saw a couple of folks you have like live in other parts of the country, right? So are y'all
Yeah,
traveling for events? Are you getting a booth, or just showing up and being guerrilla?
dude, I've done gorillas back in the day when I had the money to do a booth. Booths, we're doing booths. We do a booth, every couple of months in different expos that are targeted to the audience that we're looking for. And
Okay,
then the teams,
cool,
yeah, we're kind of spread out, through Latin America and North America. So,
very cool. Yeah, I'm telling people I'm helping a client now do local events. I called just before this, working with a client down in Louisiana, and I'm like, local event, do cold call, invite to an event, put on your own event, and
dude, they're great. People don't think about those things anymore, but they go off. They're very
yeah,
effective.
yeah, and you got to get up and running, and both of them, man. I mean, it's pushing a rock uphill, but both of them were like, oh, I think I understand. Like, okay, praise the Lord. you
Yeah.
know, oh,
Yeah.
man, it's like
Sometimes the old school
don't.
techniques still work.
It does, and it's like so short and sweet. I'm like, both of them, and people they always want to ad lib and add to it. I'm like, these are local events, call them local people. I don't introduce because I did the calls for one client in Utah to get them going, and I gave them the script, and it's just, and they were calling doctors. They're focusing on marketing for doctors, and it's just, hey, we're doing a live event for Salt Lake City doctors. It's called YouTube for Doctors. Who there can I send the invitation to? Do you have like an operations manager, marketing manager? Who would I send this to? Like, that's it. Joe. But what does Joe do? Oh, he's our operation manager. Fantastic. What's Joe's last name? Looking in his email. Thank you very much. Send the invitation. And we're doing direct mail, and then we're sending an email. I'm like, don't make this hard. Everybody, they want to change stuff up. And on the call, I just told them, I'm like, no, zip it.
Yeah.
You're talking too much. Why do salespeople always want to talk so much, man?
Honestly, I've realized that the more you listen, the more success you can have.
But it doesn't come natural. Oh, you have the gift of gab. You've never met a stranger. You can sell ice cream to an Eskimo. That does not mean you're a great salesperson.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think it's funny though, because like when you do have the gift of gab, I was a horrible talker. I was not popular at all. So I never was told that. But, I had a lot of friends that were very gifted in talking, and they tried sales because they always were told, like, you can talk really good, you can tell really good stories. And they were always told you should go into sales, and they all failed. And me not being a good talker, and I've scrambled my words on this podcast many times, but I
Well,
realized
I
that
got to edit the crap out of this. Thanks a lot, man.
you're welcome. Appreciate that. Make sure you kind of soften up my lines too, bud.
I got to get mine first, man. I'm old, dude. I got gray hair. You got that nice beard. It's all dark. Mine's all. Never mind.
It's coming in though, man. My chin. But yeah, no,
It's
listening is
that
very
point.
effective.
That
Here's my Achilles heel though. I should also listen to my wife.
Bro.
That's a different story though. It's difficult.
All right, we're shifting
We just
gears.
shifted into a marriage talk.
I got 29 years under my belt. I tell
Congratulations.
people, I wear the pants in this family, but she picks the colors. Okay, so look, you gotta come on, man. You come on down. All right, bring the family. Bring all. I got 5 girls, but I only got 2 at home. But one lives local. She's got 2 kids, and my son, he's local too. So come on down. Bring the kids. Bring the girls. My girls can watch your girls. We'll go do some wine tasting. We'll get some marriage counseling going on. All right.
Boom, there we go, man.
Free
Speak the truth.
babysitters, and we're members at 2 wineries. So free wine tasting, free babysitters. All you gotta do is get here.
Sounds like a good time. You're not very far away. 40 minutes away. Be there.
Is that an offer you can't refuse? I mean,
It's an offer
hello.
I can't refuse.
Yeah, you gotta listen. Gotta listen to the wives, man. They know what's up. They know what's up.
They have very good intuition, especially if they
Yes.
understand the heart of the home much better than I ever have. The
Oh,
thing is,
for
I think I know, but not really.
No, you don't know.
But
But I think,
I'm not going to share this link so she doesn't know this.
but sometimes though they don't understand. Like for men, starting a business is the closest thing to being a mother, right? I mean, it's think this thing up, we launch it, we nurture it, we lose sleep over this thing. It upsets us. I mean, dude, I've lost a lot of sleep running this business. A lot of worrying, a lot of, baby steps. Hey, let's crawl before we walk. So it's after 29 years, she's seen me do this since 06. So my wife's probably better at selling me than I am. She's picked up a lot, but it is something to grow a business. So
It is. It's a very exciting experience. That's funny though that you mentioned it and tied it to motherhood. I would definitely say, I mean, we obviously don't birth a kid, and even when they're newborns, like my first child, I didn't really even feel like a father until I think she was like 8 months old. So it takes a while for me to have that emotional connection. Now, my last 2 kids, probably because I was able to be at home a lot more and be around them, I felt that connection like right away.
yeah.
But it with a business, it just comes from our mind, and we kind of build it out, and we put our blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, because it's like we had 2 boys in under a year, and
Dang, dude,
I always
that's intense.
that was intense.
That's
It was
probably
not
where
by
you're sleeping
design.
there, huh?
It was not by design. So
I would expect not by design.
yeah, and but it was like when my second was born, I got told my wife, said, "Oh, now I have a kid," because she's nursed all of them, and I mean, so there was just nothing I could do. Right, baby's crying, I gotta hand you off. And so I get what you're saying. It's like it's such a different relationship, mother and father. I mean, there's no love like a mother's love. They grow that little human, and it's special, So it's cool. And look, I didn't appreciate like how quick they grow, because I tell people all the time, our 5th is the only one we intentionally tried to have.
Hey, man, you must be very
And
gifted, my friend.
Well, as a matter of fact, baby, I am. Call me a hunk of burning love, but I digress. We'll try to keep this PG-13. But it's like because you are like you're so overwhelmed. Like everything's new. The first one's new. Well, then you got two. Well, it's new having two. Well, it's new having three. It's new having four. And then they start going everywhere, and they get old enough to do sports and whatever. Like, damn, I got to drive here, drive there. Now they're in school. You got a little homework and projects. And it's like, just chill, bro. You're gonna get through it all. And they will grow up fast, and then it's over. And it's like I remember reading this thing. It said at some point in time, your parents held you in their lap for the last time. Picked you up for the last time. Like, damn,
That's intense. That's heavy.
that's intense, right? So it's like I can still pick up my 10-year-old. I'm not picking up my 16-year-old. So and now I got grandkids. All right, so I'm picking them up. So like, don't take it for granted. I mean, bam, it's gone. It's over. It's past. It's like turn the page. So slow your roll, man. Enjoy the ride.
I think that's
So
honestly one of the biggest, going back to like scaling back, right? I'm selling a couple of these businesses and, moving into more of just a different environment, different season of life for me. It's not necessarily that I think being successful is exciting and fun, but I think, especially when you come from a very poor background, it's a tantalizing thing that's more powerful and more appeasing on the outside looking in than it actually is. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people that become successful actors and actresses, a lot of people that succeed, like, realize, man, success ain't that. This goal wasn't going to fulfill that inner part of me that wanted it to be fulfilled, And, you know, I think that's, a season of life that I'm moving into now is like, what is fulfilling? I have an 11-year-old, I have 2 9s, I have a 6, 2, and a 10-month-old or 11-month-old that's about to turn 1 on the 23rd. Shoot, dude, that is like literally in 9 days. And it's just like, sometimes you can enjoy the roses of the family, and that's, I'm just glad I learned that at 34 and not at 54. Because
yeah,
I noticed some of the other friends that I've had that are a little older that are very successful, kind of paid a very heavy price when it comes to
yeah,
their family. And not
yeah,
necessarily, you can still be successful. Like, you can still make some good money. You can still have a lot of fulfillment in your career because speaking as a man, so I can only say as a man, I get a lot of fulfillment out of work and, building things and doing that. And without it, I can't just be a family man. Like, I can't be that. But do I need to work around the clock? No, probably not. Like,
yeah,
that's just because that's my obsessive compulsive behavior.
yeah,
Like, probably my inner child running away from being poor. Like, dude, I was making more money a month than a week last year than most people would make in their entire life. And
yeah,
at that point in time, my wife thought we were broke. Because she's now in our finances and stuff like that. But like then she wasn't. And I'm like, babe, we're freaking broke. Like, but I was making all this crazy money. Like, literally, it was insane. Like, what was I running from? I don't even
yeah,
know. Like, I'll let you know. This is a good counseling session, apparently.
yeah. Well, and you mentioned success several times on this interview, but I tell people all the time, I think we have to redefine what success means.
Absolutely.
It's not just money. It's not just stuff. You mentioned 34 and 54. I'm 54. I'd had some health issues this last month, but fortunately they're solvable. But it's like, holy crap. I mean, that was intense. That was a scare. And it's like, I'm glad that I'm in shape, right? I'm glad I exercise. Done jujitsu now almost 8 years, 5, 6 days a week. So I could bounce back and handle this, but people don't do that. They think they're going to live forever. They've used their bodies. They think their kids will be around forever. They think, oh, I can come back to the marriage later. Like, good luck, man. It's like, stop letting television define what success is.
Yeah. And you got to
Because
really look at
it
it for
ain't,
yourself. Because some people
Yeah.
really do. Like, I mean, I'm a big Elon Musk fan personally. I love the guy. I think he's, in a lot of different ways. I appreciate him, but you know, he's also paid a very high price. But he's running on his mission and his purpose. I don't know if he feels ultimately fulfilled inside. I know if
Yeah.
I accomplished what he accomplished and paid the price that he paid, I would not feel fulfilled. I personally would feel empty and sad, like very
Yeah.
lonely,
Yeah.
personally. But that may not be him. I don't know. I think everybody's definition, you really have to have this deep dive and understand who you are as a person, what motivates you, and really what your values are in life.
Yeah.
And then base your actions off the values and not get caught up, because sometimes you can chase chase something that's not real.
Yeah. And I think that's the predominant thing in society, and it's sad. And I think that's why we're sick as a society, so that's a topic for a whole nother conversation.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm linking out, like we said at the beginning, to your Jovi, your Sales Dash Hub. Anywhere in particular we should send people? Do you have, like, who should come visit you? I mean, you help with marketing.
Marketing
You
is Sales
can,
Hub. So if you're looking at somebody to drive leads or online sales, Sales Hub is a holistic online experience for customers. It's a truly D2C model, and we take over your D2C, your business, from landing page flows, from ad spend optimization, outgoing, inbound, email, SMS, calling campaigns. We really take care of the whole thing when it comes to lead generation and delivering a fully vetted customer to the consumer. And when it comes to Jovi, if you're looking for, a virtual assistant that could do inbound, outbound calls, inbound, outbound SM messaging, talk to people on Facebook and transfer to a phone call, connect in with an Omni Connect feature that's literally a customer can talk on all platforms that they would be talking, whether it be SMS, email, calling, Facebook, Instant Messenger, web chats, and it connects into a backend system that transfers seamlessly to a live agent. We call it Human in the Loop. It's a great customer service platform. Jovi.ai is the website. You can click on it, click on Try Me, and we're one of the only chatbots that is currently in market, and we're not even in market yet. We're in beta, and we are producing and presenting our live demo on our website. So we feel like that bold move will help put us ahead. Try us out at Jovi.ai.
and it's JOVEE, right?
JOVE.ai. That's us.
Very nice. Well, cool, man.
Appreciate talking to you, man. That was a great conversation. Thank you.
I look forward to you bringing the missus and the kids on down to Temecula. We will continue this conversation, all right?
Would love that. Yeah, just shoot me a
Don't make me
text.
come up. Don't make me come. I got your address. I know where you are. Don't make me. I have a special set of
Shoot me a
skills.
text and we'll talk, man.
I have a special set. I will find you. Don't make me.
I'm sure Michelle will make sure I find you. She doesn't give me an
All
option.
right. I am.
She's on
Very
it.
cool. Titus Jumper, the man, the myth, Sales Hub, Jovi. Thanks for coming to the show, man. It's been great catching up with you.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Wes. Have a good one.
Yeah, man, you too.